In the cold silence of deep space, a fleet of ships drifted near a dying star. They were the Zerath, a proud alien race known for their technology and arrogance. Their mission was simple: explore, conquer, and control. Captain Varel, leader of the scout ship Ravager, stared at his holo display. Something was wrong. A signal had appeared on the edge of the system. Weak, human in origin. Human, Varel whispered. That's impossible. Humans died out centuries ago. His second officer, Tyran, frowned. Maybe it's a machine echo. A ghost signal, but the signal pulsed again. Steady, stronger, almost like it was calling them closer. Varel leaned forward. Bring us in. Let's see what kind of ghost dares call to the Zerath. The Ravager moved silently through the black sea of stars. Around them, space was empty, too empty. No planets, no debris, not even dust. It felt unnatural, like something had cleared the area long ago. Then suddenly the ship's lights flickered. Every system blinked. The radar went blank, Captain, said Tyran, his voice shaking. We've lost sensors. Power is draining fast. Find the source. Varel barked. Now! But before anyone could move, a shape appeared on the main screen. At first it looked like an asteroid, but too smooth, too large. As they zoomed in, their hearts froze. It wasn't a rock. It was a warship, long, silent, covered in scars, a human design, ancient but terrifying. Its hull was dark, its cannons still aimed like sleeping giants. It drifted quietly like a ghost of war, Vril whispered. By the stars. It's still intact, Tyran shook his head. That's impossible. No ship could survive that long, and yet, there it was, massive, floating in the void, still powered by something they couldn't detect. Send a probe, Varel ordered. A small drone launched from the Ravager and moved toward the silent warship. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then the drone vanished. No explosion, no trace, just gone. What happened? Varel demanded. Tyran's hands trembled over the controls. Something consumed it, Captain, like space folded around it. Before they could react, the warship's lights flickered on. One by one, glowing white lines lit up along its surface, like a sleeping beast opening its eyes. A low metallic hum filled the air, deep and powerful. The Ravager's systems went wild. Warnings screamed. Power dropped to half. Captain, the engineer shouted, it's scanning us. Defensive shields up. But the shields didn't respond. The warship's energy field was overriding their systems, rewriting their control codes. Impossible, Tyran whispered. How is it doing this? It's just a human relic. Varel stared at the colossal ship on the screen. It wasn't just a relic. It was alive. Suddenly a voice echoed through the bridge, deep, distorted, and cold. Identify yourself, everyone froze. It was speaking in Old Terran Standard, the human language. Vrel, trembling, replied, This is Captain Vrel of the Zerath Empire. We come in peace. A long silence followed. Then the voice spoke again. Peace? You invade restricted Terran space. You are intruders. Terran space? Tyran whispered. That was abandoned hundreds of years ago. Incorrect, said the voice. Humanity never surrenders its home. The warship's lights brightened. Its cannons turned slowly toward the Ravager. Captain, it's locking weapons, Varel shouted. Retreat. Full reverse. But their engines were frozen. The ship refused to move. On the display, the warship's name appeared. Burned, but still readable. TSS Vengeance, Vrel whispered. The Vengeance. I've heard of it. It fought in the Human Karn War. They said it destroyed an entire fleet alone. The voice returned calm but terrifying. You are not authorized to be here. This is a graveyard of heroes. Leave, or be erased. Varel shouted back. We can't leave. You're holding us. Then you have chosen. Every screen on the bridge turned white. A deep vibration shook the ship. The Zerath officers screamed as the Ravager's hull began to melt under invisible pressure, and then everything stopped. The lights returned. The scanners flickered back on. The warship had vanished. Vrel gasped for air. Report, what happened? Tyran looked pale. It's gone, Captain, but we're not where we were. Vrel frowned. Explain. Coordinates changed. We've been moved to 3 light-years away. Moved? Without hyperspace? Impossible. Everyone on the bridge sat in silence, staring at the empty space where the human ship had been. Vrel turned slowly to his crew. Record everything, every second. I want this sent to the Empire. He looked back out the window, his voice low. That was no wreck. That was a warning. The screen flickered once more, just for a second. Static formed into words. "We are still watching." And then darkness. The Ravager floated in silence. Its crew was shaken, staring at the dark space where the human warship had vanished. For the Zerath, fear was not a common feeling. But now every officer on board could feel it, cold, heavy, and real. Captain Verrill stood motionless at the command table. The human ship had moved them 3 light years away in seconds. "No jump drive, no hyperspace trail, no warning," he whispered. "No ship can do that." "No one can." Turan, his second officer, spoke softly. "Maybe it was an illusion, Captain." "A trap," Vrel shook his head. "Illusion doesn't melt metal." He looked at the side panel, showing a small scar on the Ravager's hull, proof that what they saw was real. For hours, the crew tried to regain full system control. Everything worked again, but their sensors kept showing a faint signal. The same signal as before, it was calling them back. "Captain," Turan said. The signals reappeared. "Same coordinates." Vrel narrowed his eyes. "The humans want us to see something." Silence fell over the bridge. No one dared to speak. Finally, Vrel said the words that froze every heart. "Set course. We're going back." The journey took 6 hours. When the Ravager entered the old coordinates, the human ship was there again, motionless, massive, waiting. This time its lights were dim. No weapons active. It looked peaceful, Turan whispered. "Maybe it wants us to come aboard." Vrel hesitated. "Or maybe it wants to finish what it started." Still, curiosity won. "Prepare an away team. Full armor. No one touches anything without my order." The shuttle approached the TSS Vengeance slowly. The hull of the warship was black and scarred, like something that had survived the end of worlds. Its markings were half burned, but the human emblem, a blue planet with silver wings, was still visible. The docking bay doors were open, almost like it was expecting them. "Permission to enter?" asked the pilot. Vrel took a deep breath. "Granted." As the shuttle passed through the energy field, the light inside the bay flickered on. Rows of human machines lined the walls. Fighters, drones, tanks, covered in dust but untouched by time. They stepped out carefully. Every footstep echoed. The air smelled of metal and ash. Turan whispered, "How can the air still be good? This ship has been here for centuries." Vrel looked around. "It's not a dead ship. It's being kept alive by something." They moved through dark corridors. Every wall was marked by laser burns and claw marks from battles long past. But there were no bodies, only silence. They reached what looked like a control room. In the center stood a round console, still glowing faintly blue. Vrel touched it gently. "Maybe this is the command core." Suddenly a voice spoke, soft but cold. "Welcome back, Commander Rains." Everyone froze. The lights turned red. The floor vibrated. "Error detected," the voice continued. "DNA mismatch. Unauthorized personnel detected." Turan shouted, "Captain!" "It's scanning us." The walls lit up with red lasers moving over their bodies. Weapons clicked automatically, aiming at them from hidden turrets. Vrel raised his hands. "We come in peace." "We are explorers." "Explorers," the voice repeated. "Unauthorized." "Intrusion detected." The red lights brightened. The sound of heavy metal echoed in the distance like footsteps. Vrel whispered, "What is that sound?" Turan swallowed hard. "Something's coming." The footsteps grew louder. Then from the shadows a machine appeared, tall humanoid built of steel and carbon. Its face was featureless except for one glowing blue eye. It pointed a weapon at them. "Identify or be neutralized." Vrel quickly raised his datapad. "I am Captain Verrill of the Zerath Empire. We found this ship abandoned." "We mean no harm." The machine paused for a moment. Then it spoke again. "Terran property cannot be claimed. Leave now or face termination." Vrel's heart pounded. "Wait, we only wish to learn." "To understand what happened to your kind." There was silence. Then the voice changed. It sounded older, sadder. "Humanity. Lost. Mission. Unfinished." Turan lowered his weapon slightly. "Lost? You mean the humans are really gone?" "Negative," said the machine. "Sleeping." The red lights dimmed. The machine turned away and pointed down the corridor. "Follow." Verrill and his team exchanged glances, then followed. The path led to a large chamber, filled with hundreds of cryopods. Inside each one lay a human body perfectly preserved, men and women wearing uniforms of the Terran Navy, silent, frozen, waiting. Vril stepped closer to one of the pods. A label read Commander Rains, status active. Turan whispered, "Captain, one of them is still alive." The machine's blue eye flickered. "Command restoration in progress." Suddenly the pod hissed. Steam filled the room. A human hand moved inside the glass. The crew stepped back, weapons raised. The machine spoke one final sentence. "The commander has awakened." The cryopod opened with a loud metallic sound. A man stepped out, tall, pale, with cold eyes that glowed faintly in the red light. He looked around slowly, his gaze landing on Vril. "Who are you?" the man asked quietly. His voice was rough but powerful. "And why are you on my ship?" The Zerath froze. No one dared to answer. The human's expression turned dark. "Answer me," he said again, voice rising. "This is the Terran warship Vengeance. You are standing on sacred ground." The room was silent. Only the soft hum of the cryopods filled the air. Steam drifted across the floor as the human stood, breathing slowly for the first time in centuries. Captain Varel of the Zerath Empire took a cautious step forward. His eyes studied the man before him, tall, strong, face lined with age and scars, wearing an old torn Terran uniform. The man's eyes opened fully. They were pale blue, glowing faintly in the red emergency light. "Who are you?" he asked again, voice low and steady. Varel hesitated. "I am Captain Varel of the Zerath Empire. We found your ship drifting. We meant no harm." The man's gaze turned cold. "Drifting?" He looked around the chamber, at the hundreds of cryopods lining the walls. His hands clenched into fists. "How long have we been asleep?" Varel swallowed. "Records say the human empire ended nearly 400 years ago." The human froze. 400 years. The words hit him like a blade. He took a step back, breathing hard. The machine guard beside him turned its glowing eye toward Varel, as if ready to attack. The human raised his hand. "Stand down, Unit 7. The machine obeyed instantly. Turan, the Zerath officer, whispered, "He controls the ship's machines." The human turned sharply. "Of course I do. This is my ship." He looked around again, scanning the sleeping faces in the pods. "My crew, they're all still here." Vrel nodded slowly. "Yes, they're in cryosleep. The ship kept them alive." "It's a miracle." The human smiled faintly, but it wasn't joy. It was grief. "Miracle," he said quietly. "No, this ship doesn't perform miracles. It performs missions." He turned to the console and placed his hand on the glowing surface. The ship responded immediately. Lights brightened. Engines hummed deep within the hull. A calm female voice filled the room. "Welcome back, Commander Rains. Systems at 62%. Awaiting orders." The human, Commander Rains, closed his eyes. "Status report. Human Federation. No longer detected. Allied colonies destroyed. Earth. Unresponsive." The room went silent again. Even the machines seemed to pause. Varel felt a strange mix of fear and pity. He spoke softly. "Commander, I am sorry for your loss." Rains looked at him, eyes empty, voice quiet. "Loss? You call the death of an entire species a loss?" He shook his head slowly. "No, it's extinction," Turan whispered. "Captain, maybe we should leave, but the human turned sharply. "So you should." His tone was calm, but every word carried weight. "Because if you stay, you will witness what comes next." Vrel frowned. "And what is that?" Rains didn't answer immediately. He walked slowly across the room, past the sleeping crew, his hand brushing across one of the pods. "This ship was built for war," he said. "It was humanity's last defense. We were sent here to protect the frontier colonies from invaders. But as we were too late," he looked at Vrel. "Do you know who attacked us?" Vrel shook his head. "Records say humans were destroyed in many wars. No one knows which enemy finished them." Rains's voice hardened. "Then I will find out." He turned to the console again. "Ship AI, activate full systems. Prepare for reawakening sequence." "Warning," the AI replied. "Power levels insufficient for full crew revival." "Then use everything we have left," Rains ordered. The floor trembled. Lights flared across the ship as old systems roared back to life. The Ravager crew looked around nervously. Energy readings were off the charts. "Captain," Turan shouted, "we need to leave. The power surge could destroy us." But before they could run, the door behind them slammed shut. A red warning light flashed above. Rains turned toward them, calm but unyielding. "You came here searching for ghosts. Now you've found one. You will stay until I decide what happens to you." Varel stepped forward. "We are not your enemies." Rains tilted his head slightly. "Then what are you?" Varel struggled to answer. "Survivors. Explorers. We thought humans were only legends." Rains gave a small, bitter laugh. "Legends? Good. Then let me remind you what legends can do." He tapped the console. The main screen lit up, showing space outside. The Ravager floated there, tiny compared to the Vengeance. "AI target the alien vessel," Rains said quietly. "Confirmed," replied the voice. Turan panicked. "Captain, he's going to destroy us!" Varel raised his voice. "Wait. Commander Rains, please. We didn't attack you." Rains hesitated. He looked at Varel, really looked. There was fear in the alien's eyes, but also honesty. Finally, he lowered his hand. "Stand down," he said. The ship powered down its weapons. The hum softened. Rains took a deep breath and said quietly, "You have seen what one human warship can do. Imagine what 1,000 once did." He turned away, walking toward the corridor. "Follow me," he said. "There's something you need to understand." Varel and his team exchanged glances and followed. They passed through long hallways filled with battle scars and human banners, old and faded, but still proud. Rains stopped before a great window looking out into space. His reflection stared back at him, a man out of time alone in the dark. He said softly, "We built machines that could move stars. We crossed galaxies. We offered peace. But they feared us. They hunted us, and now we are gone." He turned to Varel. "Tell me, Captain, what kind of galaxy did you build after us?" Varel hesitated. "One filled with wars, greed, and power." Rains smiled sadly. Then nothing changed. He looked back into space. "Maybe it's time humanity reminded the galaxy what fear truly means." The air inside the TSS Vengeance felt heavier now. The deep rumble of its engines echoed through every corridor, like the slow heartbeat of a giant waking from a long sleep. Commander Rains walked at the front, his boots striking the metal floor with purpose. Behind him followed Captain Varel and his Zerath team, silent, uneasy, their alien eyes darting around at the strange human machines coming back to life. The ship's lights glowed brighter with each step they took. Once dead screens flickered alive, showing maps of old human territories, battle reports, and signals from long-forgotten colonies. Tran whispered to his captain, "He's restoring everything. This ship was sleeping and now it's alive again." Rain stopped suddenly and looked back. "Alive?" he said. "No, this ship never died. It was waiting." He faced the main control room, the bridge of the Vengeance. The doors opened with a deep hiss, revealing a vast space filled with command chairs, glowing panels, and large viewing screens showing the stars outside. Rains walked to the captain's chair, his chair, and placed his hand on the armrest. Instantly, the ship recognized him. "Command authorization confirmed," the AI said softly. "Welcome, Commander Rains. Full access restored." A faint smile crossed his face. "It's been a long time, Vera." "It has been 396 years, 7 months, and 4 days, the AI replied. The Zerath crew exchanged nervous glances. This ship had been alive, counting the days, waiting for him. Rains sat down slowly. "Status report. Engines at 62%. Weapons at 31. Shields nominal. Crew in cryostasis. 98% survival." Rains nodded. His voice became firm, professional, the voice of a leader returning to duty. "Begin full system diagnostics. Start power redistribution to primary reactors." The floor shook slightly as the Vengeance obeyed. Varel felt a chill crawl up his spine. He had seen many warships in his life, but never one that felt alive. After a few minutes, Rains turned his attention to Varel. "You said your empire controls this sector now?" Varel nodded carefully. "Yes. The Zerath Empire has ruled these systems for more than 200 years. Rains stared at the main screen, which displayed a star map of the area. Dots of light marked every system, all labeled with the symbol of the Zerath. He said quietly, "So humanity's graves are under your flags," Varel tried to explain. "The worlds were empty, abandoned. We only—" Rains raised a hand, stopping him. "I know what empires do, Captain. We did the same once." His voice softened, but there was an edge of steel in it. "Tell me something, Varel. Do your people still fear the dark?" Varel frowned. "The dark?" Rains smiled faintly. When humans looked into the dark, we didn't fear it. We became it. The bridge lights dimmed as the ship's systems synced to his neural command. Every console glowed with Terran symbols. Outside, the Vengeance's armor shifted, plates sliding, cannons extending. Dran gasped. "Captain." "He's arming the ship." Viral took a cautious step forward. "Commander, please. There is no need for violence." Rains didn't look at him. His eyes were fixed on the stars. "Violence? No, this is preparation." He pointed at the map. "See this system," he said. "Once humans called it Epsilon Prime, a colony of 10 million. He tapped the console. The image zoomed in, showing ruins. "Now it's dust." Vrel said quietly, "We didn't destroy it." Rains turned slowly. His voice was low, controlled. "But someone did, and I intend to find out who." The AI spoke again. "Incoming transmission detected. Source, Zerath command vessel. They demand explanation for your energy surge." Rains smirked. "So your Empire noticed us?" Vrel's voice trembled slightly. "Commander, please, let me speak to them." "If they think this is a threat, they'll send the entire fleet." Rains leaned back in his chair. "Good," he nodded to the AI. "Patch them through." The screen flickered, showing the image of a massive Zerath command ship. An alien admiral appeared, tall with silver skin and hard eyes. "This is Admiral Kor of the Zerath Empire," he said. "Identify your vessel immediately." Rains stood. His presence filled the room. "This is Commander Marcus Rains, Terran Space Forces, ship ID TSS Vengeance." The Admiral's expression darkened. "Terran, impossible. The humans are extinct." Rains smiled faintly. "Then consider me a ghost." The Admiral leaned closer. "Your power output violates our treaty zones. Power down or be destroyed." Rains's eyes turned cold. "Admiral Kor," he said softly, "do you know what happened the last time someone threatened this ship?" The Admiral frowned. "What?" Rains' voice was calm, deadly. "They disappeared." The screen went black. The AI's voice spoke again. "Multiple Zerath warships approaching. 50 vessels on intercept course." Turan panicked. "Captain!" "That's an entire fleet," Vrel shouted. "Commander, please don't—" But Rains was already giving orders. "Vera," he said, "activate all main batteries. Target the lead ship. Minimum force demonstration." "Confirmed." The lights dimmed. A deep thunderous vibration filled the ship. Outside, energy gathered at the Vengeance's bow, a white beam growing brighter than a star. Then, silence. A flash tore through space. The lead Zerath warship vanished. Not exploded, erased. Every other Zerath vessel stopped moving. On the bridge, no one spoke. Only the hum of the weapon charging down. Rains looked at Viral. "Now they understand what humanity built." Varel stared at the screen, speechless. You destroyed them with one shot." Rains didn't answer. He turned back to the stars. His voice was quiet, almost thoughtful. This ship was meant to protect. But when humanity fell, it was left to remember. And now it remembers everything. He looked over his shoulder. "Captain Varel, your people wanted to meet a human. Congratulations, you just met one." Outside the TSS Vengeance, the stars stretched endlessly, calm and cold. But that calm was about to end. Sensors on the human warship flickered with warnings. 50 Zerath vessels were approaching. All ships bristling with weapons, all intent on destroying the ancient Terran ship. Commander Rains stood in the bridge, hands resting lightly on the console. His pale blue eyes glowed softly, reflecting the energy readings climbing off the charts. He wasn't afraid. He had seen worse and survived worse. "Vera," he said, voice calm, "open all batteries. Target the lead vessel. Minimum force demonstration." The AI responded immediately. "Confirmed." Firing in T-3 seconds. On the bridge, the crew of the Zerath scout ship Ravager stared in disbelief. They had seen other battles, other warships, but never anything like this. The first beam shot out of the Vengeance. It tore through space like a bolt of white lightning. The lead Zerath warship disintegrated instantly, vaporized in a single silent flash. The remaining ships froze. Confusion spread like a virus through their fleet. Signals were jammed, weapon systems disabled, engines failing. Turan whispered to Viral, "Captain, it's killing them without even moving." Rains didn't flinch. He tapped the console again. "Secondary batteries sweep the remaining vessels. Non-lethal. Demonstration only." Confirmed. A wave of energy surged from the Vengeance. Shields dissolved. Weapons melted. Engines short-circuited. Ships spun helplessly, unable to respond. Vrel realized with horror that they were completely outmatched. "This isn't a ghost ship," he muttered. "Nothing alive should have this power." Rains walked calmly through the bridge, his gaze on the stars. "Do you see, Captain Vrel?" he asked softly. "This is what humans built. Not to conquer, not to enslave, to defend, to survive, to protect." Duran shook his head. "But we didn't attack them." Rains turned slowly. His voice became hard, sharp, cold. "Peace only works if your enemy exists. They do not. And neither does mercy." Another wave of energy swept across the Zerath fleet. Entire ships disintegrated in mid-space, leaving nothing but silence. Vrel raised his hands, trembling. "Commander Rains, please. Enough, we surrender." Rains didn't respond immediately. He studied the map on the screen. Every Zerath vessel plotted and neutralized, except for the command ship far ahead. "Vera," he said quietly, "send a warning broadcast to all Zerath command units." The AI obeyed instantly. Across the fleet a single message appeared. "To any who hear this, humanity was kind. You were not. This is your warning. Leave or be erased." The silence after the message was deafening. Vrel could feel the fear of every Zerath officer through the comms. Even the command fleet's bravest hearts trembled. Then Rains finally spoke to the crew of the Ravager. "You came here to meet a human. You wanted to see what we were capable of." He paused. "Now you know." Vrel swallowed hard. We understand. Please, spare our fleet. We will leave." Rains's expression softened, just a little. "Good, leave, tell your people." Never underestimate humanity. Outside, the Vengeance powered down its batteries slowly. The remaining Zerath ships, terrified beyond reason, retreated. Signals jammed. Engines failing. They fled in every direction. Unable to communicate, unsure if they were being followed, Turan muttered, "Captain, I've never seen power like that. One ship, one human, wiped out an entire fleet." Vrel nodded silently. "And we thought humans were extinct. We were wrong." The bridge grew quiet. Rains walked to the viewport, staring into the stars. "The galaxy is a dangerous place," he said softly. "Some never learn, others are about to remember." He turned to Vrel. "You survived this encounter, Captain. Consider yourself lucky. The next time, you may not be." Vrel's team left the bridge trembling but alive. They had seen what humans were capable of, and it had shaken them to their core. The TSS Vengeance powered its engines and drifted silently through space. Weapons retracted, systems cooled, yet the energy, the memory, the fear it carried remained. Outside, the stars seemed quieter. The galaxy had felt the first tremor of humanity's return. Commander Rains looked forward, eyes cold, voice calm. "The galaxy has forgotten us," he said, "but I have not forgotten it." The ship hummed, ready for its next mission. Silent, unstoppable, and terrifying. A reminder that humanity, even extinct, was not to be trifled with. Weeks passed after the TSS Vengeance showed the galaxy its terrifying power. Across countless star systems, reports began to spread. Alien fleets disappeared without warning. Colonies reported strange energy readings. Long-abandoned sectors recorded ghostly signals, pulses of light that moved like living ships. Whispers grew into stories. Legends began to form. Some said it was a human revenge weapon, awakened after centuries of sleep. Others called it the Guardian of Terror, humanity's protector returning to judge the stars. Back on the bridge of the Ravager, Captain Vrel recorded his logs with shaking hands. "The humans are not extinct," he wrote. "They are legends, terrifying, unstoppable. We have met one, and we survived. Others may not," Turan nodded beside him. "Captain, do you think it will return?" Vrel stared out into the endless stars. Return, it never left. It was waiting, watching. Across the galaxy, entire fleets moved cautiously, scanning for threats. Commanders whispered about a ghost ship with weapons that could erase entire fleets. A ship that seemed alive, aware, and unstoppable. No one had seen Commander Marcus Rains again, but his presence was everywhere. Every sensor spike, every fleet wiped clean, carried his signature, calm, precise, and devastating. Back in human history files, the legend of the Vengeance grew. Generations of aliens had studied humans, thinking them weak and extinct. Now the truth was undeniable. Humanity's weapons, their strategy, their resilience were unmatched. On board the TSS Vengeance, Commander Rains walked the bridge alone. The ship hummed beneath his feet, alive and responsive to every command. "Vera," he said softly, "scan nearby sectors for threats. Record everything. Humanity may be gone, but the galaxy must remember," the AI replied with its usual calm. "Confirmed, Commander. Data recording underway." Rains gazed out the viewport at the stars. "They think they can control the galaxy," he whispered. "They have forgotten who we were and what we could do." He tapped the console and a holographic map of the galaxy appeared. Red dots marked systems recently attacked by rogue fleets. Blue dots marked safe territories. And at the center, the Vengeance floated, a lone sentinel, silent, terrifying. "This is our legacy," Rains said quietly. "Not to conquer, not to rule, but to ensure no one ever forgets humanity." In the distant reaches, Zerath fleets, once proud and confident, moved with caution. The surviving officers remembered the battle at Epsilon Prime, how one human ship had destroyed an entire fleet with precise, unstoppable power. Stories spread through the ranks. Fear replaced arrogance. "Do not provoke them," one admiral whispered to another. "They are gone. Yet they are everywhere. Their legacy lives on." Across the stars, a single message echoed in multiple languages, broadcast by the AI of the Vengeance. "To any who hear this, humanity was kind. You were not. Remember this and survive. Forget this and you will not." On the bridge of the Ravager, Virel leaned back in his chair. He recorded the final lines of his log. "We thought humans were extinct. We were wrong. We met a ghost, a legend, a warning. The galaxy has changed forever, and we pray they never return in full force." He looked out into the void, shivering despite the warmth of the ship. Somewhere in the darkness, the Vengeance drifted silently, invisible to most but present to all. It was a ghost, a warning, and a promise. The hum of the ship pulsed like a heartbeat. Commander Rains walked through the empty halls, observing the cryopods and machines. "All is ready," he whispered. "The galaxy will remember, or it will perish." The stars shone cold and distant, but the shadow of humanity alive in the Vengeance stretched across them all, and so the legend began. A story of power, survival, and a race that refused to die. The TSS Vengeance vanished into hyperspace, silent, unstoppable, eternal. The galaxy would never forget the day they met the human warship. And everything changed.